welcome to this edition of the Balanced CEO podcast. I almost said the morning dig. I'm starting to blur these podcasts together. So anyway, welcome to this edition of the Balanced CEO podcast. Today, I'm lucky to be with one of my mentors, Anastasia Bennett. Anna, let's talk a little bit about you. So you are a former affiliate owner, so former CrossFit gym owner.
Yes.
You are the owner of Lifehack Coaching, which is an online support and nutrition coaching business for women.
Yes.
We'll get more into the details of what type of thing you do, because I actually would love to understand it, because I could barely understand the word. So we'll get to it in a minute. You're a two-brain mentor, obviously, as you mentored me for almost 3 years now.
Wow.
Is it really 3 years? Yeah, almost 3 years, a couple months away. Or actually, it could be right now that I think about it. And then you're also the owner of multiple investment properties with your husband.
Yes.
In New Zealand.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get that out of the way. She's originally from Russia, moved to New Zealand. So try matching that accent. And then on top of that, she just flew here for 2 days to Columbus, Ohio, and then flying back. Is that right?
Correct.
Talk about dedication. Two-brain, you got a good one here. So let's just kind of get into what you're doing now. So I know you were a gym owner. You have a lot of experience with that. You had your own journey with weight loss and, after having kids. But I'm really interested, what exactly is perimenopause and why does that matter, and who does that affect?
Well, it could affect both male and female in some way.
See?
Especially if male married to female.
Oh.
And she's going through these changes, then it will definitely affect him in certain way.
Okay, fair enough. So is that something to do with is perimenopause essentially the pre-menopause?
Yes, so menopause, average age of menopause is 51. Menopause is when female hasn't had a period for 12 months non-stop. Perimenopause starts anywhere between 8 to 15 years prior to menopause. So menopause, it's only the moment in their lives, and perimenopause is, I guess, a phase prior to it. That's when hormones started to fluctuate, especially in early stages of perimenopause. And then as they get closer to actual menopause, their hormones pretty much, especially estrogen, depletes, and that's it. And it can affect women in many, many different ways. Estrogen helps with a lot of things. It helps with the brain work. It helps with the bones and metabolism and everything. So when a woman goes through menopause, it can affect a lot of things. They have a high risk of osteoporosis. They go through mood swings, they experience brain fog, they can get ringing ears, pains everywhere in the body, anxiety, panic attacks. The list goes on. I can't remember how big, but we can say like over 100 different symptoms that women can experience. And some women can get hormone replacement therapy to help them with that, because there's nothing really as nutrition coaches we can do to replace hormones apart from hormone replacement therapy. But what we can do is we can help to manage those symptoms through healthy lifestyle, healthy nutrition, working on mindset, mindfulness, all of that stuff, and then of course managing stress and sleep and all that comes with it.
Okay. So essentially what I got out of that is if the average age is 51, that could start for someone as early as their mid-30s.
100%, yes. So my experience was 37.
Okay.
I would say it potentially was earlier, about 35. I remember going to GP saying that I'm angry, constantly angry. And at that point of time, I had miscarriage. So they said, you're just grieving. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm not grieving. I know the grief, and that's not that. Like, there's something is wrong with me. Yeah. I'm like, no, you're just grieving. And they send me off. And then about 37, when I had my first big panic attack, I ended up the hospital. They thought I was having a heart attack. I thought I was having a heart attack. But after a few tests, they were like, no, you're just having a panic attack. And I was like, I don't get stressed. Like, why would I have panic attack?
Right.
Like, I don't get anxious. I'm not a stressed person. And so I didn't really believe them. But then I started questioning a few things, and I ended up getting some tests done, which wasn't just blood tests, because we can't really test hormones, especially in the early stages of perimenopause, because especially estrogen and progesterone fluctuate quite a lot throughout the month, also fluctuate throughout the day. They can also fluctuate during the hour. So something that we might test and it come up normal, tomorrow it might be not normal. So it's really hard to track what's going on. So in the early stages of perimenopause, you can't really say, oh yeah, you're in perimenopause. So you should look at different symptoms rather than blood test. But I had another test done, which is Dutch test. It's where you pee on a stick a few times a day, and it tries to track lots of things like estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, dopamine, melatonin, cortisol, all of that. And that test showed that I had massive imbalances in all my hormones, which indicated early stages of perimenopause, which made me question, like, okay, if it's this now already showing, that potentially when I was 35, that's when it's all started.
That's when it was triggering.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
That makes sense. So how do you help women dealing with that? So I understand that, at least in my very minimal knowledge on this, the basic knowledge I have, weight is a big issue. It's really difficult to hold. It's really difficult to lose. It's easy to gain. So in that situation, how do you help women that are in that situation? Like what could they expect? What type of tips and tricks would you want to help them with? Especially someone that maybe is in a situation like us where we're high achieving professional, also a mom, also a spouse, trying to balance all these things and saying, I don't have time to eat right, let alone work out. Like what are a few tips and tricks you might tell them to help them with that balance?
Yeah, so I look at it differently a little bit on the whole thing. It's not as easy for some people. So sometimes I do ask my clients to get blood tests done, like especially if they come in and they say, I've tried everything and nothing works, I can't lose weight, I keep gaining, I feel shit, whatever. I ask them to get a few tests. I ask them to get blood tests for progesterone and testosterone and estrogen, just in case, because if they're close to menopause, it will show up, But I also ask them to test their thyroid, their iron level, B12, because sometimes, especially low iron and B12, can mimic some perimenopausal symptoms as well. So it's always good to have a bigger picture to see, is there anything else that might be
contributing factor?
Yeah, contributing factor to how they feel or their weight gain. That's the first step, get that done. But most of the things, what I'm noticing, especially with perimenopausal women, starving or not eating enough or going into calorie deficit is not actually not going to benefit them. It makes it harder to lose weight.
Interesting.
So the first thing that I do is I put them on maintenance calories. Maintenance calories, just to see if they're overeating or undereating. Because if they were overeating and you put them on maintenance, they will start losing weight no matter what. If they were undereating too much and their metabolism slowed down because they were undereating, even if you give them deficit calories, they might not see results, because what I think might be deficit still could be above to what they're currently consuming. So then it's not going to be deficit. So they're not going to be losing weight. So then, like just looking at different things. And you ask why it's harder for perimenopausal women to lose weight. Well, there's a couple of things can contribute to it. A lot of women develop food sensitivity during perimenopause because of the changes the body is going through. So if there are different sensitivities to food, then some foods can be causing inflammation. Inflammation can be causing water retention. Feels like weight gain, right? Because you can be heavy on scales. The other things, when estrogen goes down, it can affect metabolism, but also affects muscle mass. So women start to lose muscle mass. And if they're not doing any strength training to maintain that muscle mass, then we know the less muscle mass we have, the slower our metabolism. So that could affect that too. So if we're losing muscle mass, if our metabolism slows down due to that, and then we're still eating the same and exercising the same, then we'll start seeing the weight gain. The other thing as well, if we're under eating, it can be, our body can perceive it as a stress. And
I can see that.
So, and especially if there is already stress in their lives, because women, they've got kids, some got kids, careers, all of that, and around the 40, that's when it becomes quite a lot, too much, plus hormonal changes. So the stress levels could be higher than normal. So when there is too much cortisol, which is stress hormone, really, released, what actually happens, what our body uses to create cortisol is the same to what progesterone is made of. So body always prioritize make of cortisol. So then it means that we're not going to be making enough progesterone. And if there is not enough progesterone, there's an imbalance in the body. So that could cause issues. But then when there's too much cortisol, our body changes how it metabolizes glucose. So when there's too much cortisol, pancreas release too much insulin into the bloodstream, and then our cells goes, whoa, too much insulin, and your body becomes like insulin resistant. So that makes it harder to lose weight too. So what I do a lot is I look at bigger picture and go, okay, are you feeling stressed? Are there any stresses in your life? Because if we're trying to lose weight and I'm giving you calorie deficit, it's not going to work. Your body has to cooperate before you try to lose weight. So if there is any other issues that are happening in life, we need to sort them out first. So sometimes we need to sort out your stress management. Sometimes it's your sleep. Sometimes it's small habits like drinking more water. We need more water, because if you're not drinking enough, you're going to retain water. So then you're going to be heavy on scales. So there's lots of things to look at.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, I think I in my weight loss, I've noticed that when I was forcing it a little too hard in terms of controlling calories or avoiding water to try to dry out to make the scale move, it was actually doing the opposite. And then I started taking more salt. I started being more proactive with salt, and I started being more proactive with water, and I started eating a little bit more, and the weight it was like someone hit the flush on the toilet and all the weight came off.
Our bodies are so sensitive, and the good thing, our bodies actually can tell us what we need to do, but we don't perceive it in the right way. Sometimes at 3 o'clock you feel tired. You're like, I feel tired, I need sugar. I need sugar to keep me going. But really what you just need carbohydrates, because your brain runs on glucose, so you just need carbohydrates. It could be fruit, vegetables, whole grains. It doesn't have to be chocolate. It doesn't have to be a spoon of honey or whatever. You just need carbohydrates. But because we think that we need sugar or glucose, or we think instantly chocolate, and it will give us immediate release of energy, 100%. But so is fruit and vegetables, but not immediate. It will be slower release, but it will be longer lasting energy.
So for someone that is like, okay, that's all good and dandy, but I don't have perimenopause, but I'm struggling still to balance everything. How did you get things under control? How simple was your start to your weight loss and getting things under control and getting back in the gym? Because I've seen your before and afters, and it's an amazing transformation. Like, what are some tips and tricks you might want to give a mom that maybe is facing what I realize is a real thing, which is mom guilt? Because maybe they're like, I feel mom guilt choosing the gym over my kids, or cooking a healthy meal instead of just getting whatever my kids want. Like, how do you recommend they come to grips with that and work through it?
You can't pour out of empty cup.
Okay, that's fair.
And they always say put your mask first, or put your on the airplane, right? Yeah. So you have to do the same at home. If you don't look after yourself, you won't have energy to look after others. You have to be selfish. In this way, you have to be selfish, because if you want to be be able to run around with your kids, get outside, if you want to be present mom, like you have to be fully functionable. Because if you're tired because you're not nourishing yourself, if you're tired because you're not fit, then are you going to be giving that? The kids want happy mom. They want a healthy, happy mom.
Yeah, I think that's a really important key, right? Is be selfish in this regard, so you can be selfless
with others
when that opportunity arises. Or maybe you can even look at it as like you're being selfish now to be selfless with the amount of years you're here.
And the other thing as well, if I look at my daughter, I want to be a good example. And I always look at it this way. I always had, body image issues, even when I was, little human. And I don't want her to feel that way when she grows up. So I want her to have a good understanding about nutrition, how it nourishes our body. Because I grew up in a culture that you have to be skinny, you have to starve yourself. And it's still, even now, knowing what I know, it's still hard to overcome that you need to eat more. You need to nourish your body and not starve yourself to lose weight, constantly chasing scales.
Yeah, it's so counterintuitive to everything you're taught. And everything that comes across on the media is less.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, it's not necessarily more, but it's, it's balance, yes. Right? It's eat enough to be in a homeostasis position, right? To be in that, I feel good all the time, which can still produce weight loss. It might not come off in a flurry like you see people on social media. They're like, I lost 100 pounds in 6 months. Like, okay, cool. You just happen to be in the perfect mode and probably using some pharmaceuticals that whether or not they were prescribed or bought online.
Yeah,
that helps, right? Little HGH, little testosterone, little this, little that dries you out and helps you get lean faster. But in reality, if you're eating right and you're eating enough and you're working out, you can lose 1 pound a week. You can lose 50 pounds in a year, which is a lot, feel good.
But you know what? It's way harder for women to lose weight than men. Way, way harder. Because we're dealing with a lot of hormones.
True.
So, and depending where they at and how old they are and stuff like that. So when I had to lose my 30 kilos after second child, I was 36 when I had him. So I was right in the middle, and I definitely can tell you that losing weight after first kid and losing weight after second, massive difference. So much harder. And now I see it because I was already in the perimenopause, that I made it so much harder to lose weight.
I think it's important for people to understand, for all my Americans that don't understand that kilos, that's about 66 pounds. So give or take, it's over 60 pounds. So that is a massive transformation. So that is not a small thing. And I just want to point out that obviously that should show you that it's possible. Even if you have hormonal issues, even if you're just getting over the birth of a child, right? You're in that post natal area of your life, and you're like, I don't know if this is ever going to come off. It feels hopeless. It is not hopeless. You have examples, people having kids in their mid 30s and making shit happen.
Yeah, but you also need to have good expectations of yourself.
Right. Fair expectations.
Yeah, fair expectations. It took me 1.5 years to lose that.
Right.
Because I already had 2 kids, two businesses, plus rentals. There's lots of things all going on. So I didn't expect to lose that in a year or even 6 months or whatever. It took a while. And the biggest thing is to prioritize nutrition. You cannot outtrain bad diet. You have to prioritize nutrition. And if somebody had to make a choice, they needed to lose weight, go to the gym or nutrition, I would say go for daily walks and do nutrition. If you can't afford go to the gym or you don't have time to go to the gym, you can have a quick workouts in the lounge while your kid is napping or playing on the floor or whatever. They're going to watch you. They will want to do it with you.
Yeah. My kid loves doing it. Every now and then he just gets a wild hair up his butt and is ready to just go in the gym and do his thing for about 5 minutes. And I'm like, that's fine. 5 minutes, that is already more than I ever did at that age. It was more than I ever cared about fitness at that age. So to me, that's huge. So yeah, I think being that good, having that impact on your kids is really powerful.
Monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah. So you're doing all this. You've got investment properties. You're a two-brain mentor working with people from all over the globe. Mm-hmm. I know I'm your favorite, but we'll leave that for another day. You had a gym, now you do the nutrition coaching. You've lost 66 pounds. What's next on the horizon for you? You got any projects or plans coming up that you're excited about?
I'm going through rebranding for Lifehack Coaching.
Okay.
So I've identified that I really enjoy working with females that are going through perimenopause, that there are way too much information out there that is just, I feel like, misleading and not appropriate for this age group or this phase of life group. And so I'm rebranding, moving from Lifehack Coaching to Perimenopause Weight Loss and Wellness, redoing website, redoing my offerings, different types of coaching programs. So I'm excited about that part.
I am too. That sounds really cool. And I think I'm excited for the fact that it's going to help so many women that I feel like don't have an advocate. They don't have a coach specifically working with them and guiding them through what seems like a really difficult period of just change. Yeah.
It's used to be kind of taboo to talk about menopause and perimenopause in the past. And I think in the last year, it's come out quite a bit. And I remember when I first started digging into it, my husband actually asked me, like, is this something that people are interested in? Do the people want to learn about it? And I remember going, yeah, because half of population at some point will go through that stage of life. So yes, it needs to come out. It needs to be more spoken about topic. So I feel like both, and then when you ask the question, like, who is going to affect? Well, both male and female, especially if you have females in your life, it will affect you as well. Because if they're experiencing rage or mood swings, or they're constantly in pain, their joints in pain, or they get random migraines that they never had before, it will affect you. And it's not because they suddenly decided to be a negative person and complain all the time. It's truly because they're going through so many changes and their bodies are not coping and they don't understand why. And a lot of women at this stage of life feel like they're going crazy because they don't understand why they're not feeling great.
Yeah, when you think about it, it's how many separations and potentially divorces happen over this because it wasn't spoken about and there weren't solutions and there weren't outlets and coaches that these women could seek out to get the help they need to get things under control, or at least get it into an area where you can manage it.
Exactly. Actually, yeah, a lot of divorces happen over 40. Yeah, that's when women are going through hormonal changes. I mean, male going through hormonal changes too, but they're not as impactful as I guess I don't want to dismiss males' hormones either, but you know what I mean. Like, yeah, it's big change for them, definitely. You were just giving me a great idea. There should be an online course for males to learn about perimenopause and menopause, so then they can understand that if women is feel a bit different, it's not about you. It's something going on with them.
Here's how you can support them.
Yeah, how you can support them. Yeah, because I guess a lot of miscommunication happens because guys or husbands probably think, what have I done? Well, there's nothing you have done.
Yeah.
You're fine.
It's a natural occurrence that you're just going to have some patience there. The same way people have to have patience for weight loss, right? You can't just expect it to happen overnight. Patience is your best friend. Patience in this regard is also your best friend.
Yeah. And we'll talk about weight loss. It could be 1 year and a half. Perimenopause could be 15 years.
Yeah. That's scary.
That's a long time for someone to be miserable, experience different random symptoms. Yeah.
Is there a potential hormonal solutions to this, or is it just something they have to find a way to manage naturally, holistically, or this hormone HRT, this hormone replacement therapy that people can do. Not everyone can do it, and there's lots of new research comes out, but I'm not a doctor, so I shouldn't be really talking about it. But we don't have to get in the weeds. I wasn't sure if there was.
Some people can get hormone replacement therapy, and others can't due to certain risks. But there's new research coming out that, who knows, potentially there might be a risk, but doesn't matter. There's option. But even if you do take hormone replacement therapy, you should still focus on nutrition, exercise, mindset, sleep, stress management. Especially for women, I always say, no matter what, you should be doing strength training or resistance training. If you don't want to lift weights, that's fine. You should be doing Pilates or something like that. There needs to be an impact on your muscles and your bones, because as you go through menopause, the risk of osteoporosis is super high. So for women, exercise is not about the look, it's about mental health, but also prevention of certain diseases. Right,
bone strength.
Yeah.
I think one of the most unsung things about weightlifting that people don't realize is the bone density.
Bone density, yeah. That's the one thing that's people need to think about. Definitely.
Yeah, I think that's something I try to tell people all the time is I'm going to look better, I'm going to feel better, I'm going to have more muscle. But the more research that comes out about longevity, it's starting to be more and more tied to bone density and muscle.
Yeah, you need muscle.
Right? So people that have the highest amount of lean muscle and bone density are tending to be the people that live the longest. And there's more and more correlations coming out to that. Dr. Peter Attia is really at the forefront of that research. And it's been really interesting to watch that, because I do notice that I don't know if I feel structurally different, but you can almost I can feel a difference in everything about me from 2 years ago when I wasn't really working out. And I was struggling at the bottom of the barrel to where I'm at today in 2024. And just everything is different. And it's just a few years. And I haven't even touched anywhere near the bottom of the weight. I'm still got plenty of weight to go, but I'm a completely different person structurally from where I was a couple years ago. And it's just patience, right? I'll get there when I get there. But I know every day I'm getting a little bit stronger. My bones are getting a little bit denser. Mentally, I'm getting a little bit more sharp and a little bit harder to kill. That's the way I like to describe it.
Definitely. And that's the mindset piece. A lot of people want to lose weight. They want to lose weight quickly. But losing weight quickly is not sustainable.
Right.
And if you don't change your lifestyle and your mindset about the whole eating, exercising, managing stress and sleeping, things that we all know, then you're always going to gain weight back up again. There's no magic pill that will stop you from gaining weight back up if you go back to old habits.
Yeah. That all makes sense to me. I really appreciate this. I think this has been eye-opening for me. I'm sure it's going to be eye-opening to a lot of people that watch this, especially women that maybe are going, I checked some of those boxes, I should go get checked for this. So I hope that helps them kind of get some, clarity on what they're dealing with, and maybe get some help and be able to reach out to you for help with that. If they want to reach out to you, where can they find you?
On Instagram.
Okay.
So it's at perimenopause_health_coach, or at this stage it's lifehackcoaching.co.nz, Our new website will be, or it is already in process, perimenopausehealth.co.nz, or they can just email me, anastasia@lifehackcoaching.co.nz.
And you'll be able to find all that in the description of this video, or if it's on Spotify or anything else, we'll have it in the description there so you guys can find her and reach out for help if you need it, or just follow along if you just want to learn more. So we appreciate you being here. And just remember, guys, everybody has a different balance. Anna's balance, lifestyle balance, is different than mine. It's different than yours. It's different than anyone's. The goal here is just to help you find people that fit your avatar that you can see and realize that this is totally doable. And as always, keep digging in.